Are you ready for a glimpse of the future? This is the Audi Concept C, and it points the way to the all-new TT. But more than that, it shows us how all new Audis are going to look inside and out, and it's a bit of a revolution. The company's calling it a new era. What do you think? Let me know your initial thoughts in the comments, and why not like and subscribe while you're there. I remember driving the original Audi TT back in 1999, and it was so stunning that it literally had the power to stop traffic. It looked like the future. It had people queuing at dealers, and it defined a whole generation of Audi design. And I'm here today to see another car for the future. It's set to become the new TT for a whole new generation. The last TT was killed off in the end of 2023, but this car gives a huge hint of what the new one's going to look like when it arrives in 2027. This is called the Audi Concept C, and it's an all-electric Roadster, or a Coupe, because it has a folding hardtop. This in itself is a bit of a blast from the past, as most other rivals have abandoned these and are moving back to soft tops. Even the latest Mercedes SL has a fabric roof these days. The most controversial part of the design is this grille. It's called the vertical frame in Audi speak, and it's meant to be inspired by that 1930s Auto Union Grand Prix car, but also by the 2004 A6, which doesn't seem like a car that can get much inspired by. But it's certainly interesting, isn't it? It's also interesting that other manufacturers are going for this big grille too. So Mercedes GLC and all its future electric cars will have a big grille, and so will that new Jaguar concept. I think it's possibly a way that the established manufacturers are going against the Chinese manufacturers, which don't have such a rich history. What do you think? Take a look at these headlights too. Now, because of new projector beam technology, they really can be made this small and thin and still be effective. Now, in daytime running light mode, they've got these 4 elements which reflects the 4 rings of the Audi badge. But at night, when you turn on the headlamps, 4 more. Clever, eh? Looking at the side now, recognise these wheels? These were on the original TT when it was first launched, and the Audi A2, which is another Audi design icon. Then look at these edges. These are so sharp, I worry I'll cut my trousers if I get too close. Now, another interesting thing, it's a proper mirror. Now, there are some Audi production cars now that have cameras here rather than mirrors, and this is a concept car which has good old-fashioned mirrors again, so perhaps we'll have them back again. Wouldn't that be nice? They're really nice and stylish too. You might also notice that it's really quite low. I mean, that's odd in a world of SUVs, but it's also odd in a world of electric cars, because on most you have the batteries underneath you there, so you have to be sat higher up. Now, that's not very sporty. So what Audi have done, they put them behind the driver there. Now, that makes it like a mid-engine car when you're talking about the handling, because it makes the weight distribution right. But what it also means is you can sit low like you're in a proper sports car. So at the back, well, let's start with the easy stuff. You've got the lights that reflect what's happening at the front with those 4 things, and you can program these to do different things, and you might be able to download different patterns from an app. But what's happening here? There's no rear window. These aren't even vents for an engine. There's the cameras and some lights in there too. So, like a Polestar 4, you don't have a back window. You just have to use a camera to look in your rearview mirror. The rest of it though is pretty good, isn't it? Down here, you've got a diffuser as well, which should mean that we shouldn't need too big of a spoiler like we did on the other TTs. So this should keep the car sucked, hopefully, to the ground. Let's take a look inside, where I'm looking forward to showing you what's not there. Now, Audi's always been famous for its interiors, but there have been a few misses recently with over-fussy technology and some iffy materials. Well, this is a return back to form. Just look at it in here. Isn't it beautiful? Well, what is missing? Have a look. Where's the 70-inch screen with another 70-inch screen for the passenger? It's not here. This is just simplicity. Now, Audi thinks this is a kind of clarity of vision. And what it means is that it's a calmer, nicer place to be. But of course, it still has all the gadgets you'd want. And it has something called Shy Tech, so I can get rid of these lights if you want to. But also, that central screen, if you want it, it's there. You just have to persuade it to come out. So, come on, persuade it, everybody. Come on, screen. Come on. Come on. Don't be shy. There it is. Now, of course, I've got another screen in front of me that does all the kind of speedometer and looks after my media if I don't want to use that one too. And you see this? This is apparently inspired by 1980s Audi cars. And these are called the Quattro flaps, which is what I'll call myself if I start doing a drag act. Nice though, isn't it? The seats and this material on here is wool, so it's warm in winter and cool in summer. But also it means that the speakers will go through it without having to have like nasty speaker mesh and introducing another material. Also, it looks like the kind of material you'd use in a suit that I could no longer get away with. Very stylish. And the buttons, well, remember all those haptics that everybody hated in Volkswagens and made their way into the new A6? They're still here, but all the bits you touch are nicely machined aluminium. It looks beautiful and feels great too. Feels like proper quality again. You'll also notice, as I said, that you're sitting low down. This feels like a proper sports car. You're not perched on top of the seat and perched on top of those batteries. So it feels like a real supercar in here. There's, of course, some practicality, of course. So this little thing here, if I go back, that's where I can put some knickknacks and maybe my mints. Shuts again. And this one here has like a translucent lid where I can keep my phone out of harm's way, but you know, if I get a call, it'll light up nicely. That's about it as far as practicality is concerned, but hey, it's a sports car. So you want to know all the technical details, right? Well, so do I, so let's try. How fast does it go? What's the range? What's the battery size? But they just won't tell me. But I can make some educated guesses. Like Audi did with the Q6 e-tron, this car will share big bits with a Porsche, in this case the new all-electric Boxster and Cayman. While Audi is being a bit coy about the technical parts, we have a few clues from what we know about the Porsche. So we can expect an 800 volt system with a battery which is smaller than that in the Q6 and the Taycan, but has the same sort of range because the car is lighter and more aerodynamic. So we can expect more than 300 miles and really quick charging. Prices? Well, the last TT cost around £45,000, but this will be more for sure. The MG Cyberster, which is this car's obvious rival, starts at £55,000. There's also going to be a Polestar 6, and maybe, possibly, we'll all be surprised by the long-lost Tesla Roadster. They're likely to be nearer six figures though. So if I had to guess, I'd say the Audi would be around £70,000 as its starting point. If that sounds a bit steep, well, we can help you find a brilliant deal on a used EV. The listings at electrifying.com have loads of different models with handy info like battery warranties. You can see the listings by scanning the QR code on the screen, so if you're watching on your smart TV or tablet, you can carry on watching and scroll our listings on your phone at the same time. So what do you think? Are you converted? Is it an open and shut case for you? Will you be queuing outside the Audi dealer like people were in the early 2000s when the first car came around? Well, for me, I think it looks great. It reminds me a bit of that new Jag, except it's cleaner and less controversial. Now, when the original TT went from being a coupe concept to a production car, it ended up looking even better. Let's hope Audi's just as brave when the CC becomes the TT.